There really is. Right, let's focus on the City half of things for the Manchester Derby live in the second part of Super Sunday tomorrow. We've talked United. Merson, let's talk about City there. And there's a point made by Erling Haaland towards the end of the interview. It's a massive game for them, not just because it's a United Derby, but if Liverpool, as we might expect, go to Turf Moor in the early kick-off tomorrow on Super Sunday and pick up 3 points, before they've even kicked a ball tomorrow, City are 9 points behind the champions. They can't be that far behind at this stage of the season. It's a must-win for them, isn't it, tomorrow?
Oh, absolute must-win. Absolute must-win. I don't put them in the equation anyway, if I'm being honest. I don't. I think there's a little bit of a rebuild to do. You know, you're missing one of the greatest players ever to play in the Premier League in Kevin De Bruyne. You know, Silva's another year older.
And he was still doing the business for Belgium midweek.
Yeah, he's a proper player. But, you know, that's only going to domino effect on Haaland. Do you know what I mean? Haaland's not going to get as many chances. I was disappointed last week. They were comfortable, and then all of a sudden, Brighton bring on a few subs, change it up, and they just steamrolled them. And I think this is a big football match. I think for Pep Guardiola as well. I think, you know, he'll be looking at this if this don't go well tomorrow, thinking, is it work? You know, it's going to be a hard season, in my opinion. I think, you know, I just look at it for everything they've done. We talk about Man City like Man City 4 and 5 years ago. Teams don't go to the Etihad anymore and get their stomachs tickled.
Well, that's a really good point, Clinton, isn't it? Because it feels like with this City side, when you look particularly the last couple of games, we may have got a little bit carried away with that 4-0 win against Wolves, because Wolves have been very poor so far this season. But that aura that they had when they were winning everything, they were winning the Premier League time after time after time. Some teams were beaten before they'd even exited the tunnel. That's gone, isn't it, that aura? Yeah,
of course it has, because they concede too many goals and they've not strengthened in the defensive areas, and that's their biggest issue. They talk about Rodri, and Rodri come out after the Brighton game and said, I'm not Messi, not a one-man team. You can't just think I'm going to come back and be back to my best straight away. And he's spot on. He is so important to them, but it's going to take him a bit of time to get back up to speed. He's had a big injury. But I've always said it, in the fullback areas, they didn't strengthen. They lost Carl Walker, didn't really bring anyone in. And then they're looking in the defensive areas as well. Now they've lost to Kanji. I know they've got injuries, but they're so vulnerable. When they're dominating possession, they're open to counter-attacks at the moment. And that's what Brighton did. Mercy's right. They dominated, but can they go and get the second goal? They didn't get the second goal, and they got counter-attacked, and they end up losing the game.
The fascinating thing tomorrow as well, Tim, is going to be the goalkeeper. And for both sides, actually. We didn't get a chance to talk about Bayindir, who is going to start for United tomorrow. But Ederson has gone, 6 Premier League titles, a Champions League in his 8 years at the club. Before we talk about who plays between the sticks tomorrow, how much did he change goalkeeping in this country, Ederson?
Well, an awful lot, but it's down to the coach and the manager setting out the structure, you know, wanting to play out. I just think that he plays that ball better than anyone. You know, when they do put the squeeze on, he goes over the top. There's
8 Premier League assists in those 8 years.
Fantastic, but he doesn't just kick it forward like a big looping thing. Look at the trajectory of the passing. It gets there. You know, you can time it. You can assess where it's going to bounce as a striker. Amazing. Just pings it. I mean, he's one of the best passers in the league, wasn't he? I mean, without doubt, long passer. Fantastic. Sometimes decision-making, like all goalkeepers, when they pass it short, it's decision-making. It's not a technique. But look at a bump there from the goal pick. I mean, we interviewed him there. They have always got a chance when you've got someone like him, Erling Haaland, in your side. I agree with Merce. I just think it is a total rebuild there. I'm not sure Pep's going to be there to see the best of some of them players, but I'm just waiting for it to click. We thought it was the first game of the season, but it was obviously against Wolves. I think it will be a matter of time before they click. I think the worry for a lot of teams, they would go to the Etihad and think, you know what, it's not the City of old here. We can open up, we can have a go, and they will come unstuck. And I think it might be tomorrow.
So who ends up being number one this season then, Merce? Because James Trafford bought in from Burnley for £27 million, but now in comes Donnarumma. We know he is a sensational shot stopper, but he is in no way an Ederson in terms of what he can do with his feet. So long-term this season, who is going to be Guardiola's number one?
The million-dollar question, because as you say, they like to play out. They like to bring people on.
And Donnarumma changes that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he hasn't got that in his locker, but he's a great shot stopper. You know, for me, I'm one of them. Stop goals going in. Yeah. Goalkeeper's job, you stop the goals going in, I'll find the people that can pass the ball. If he does, he's got a great outlet in Haaland. 6'4", 6'5", how tall he is. He's a unit. Yeah. Put it up to him, he'll be able to hold it and get runners around. I think teams are just suffocating Man City now. You know, we see it We see it time after time now. They're going after them. And I know what Tim's saying. They will go and beat someone 5 or 6 during the season. But I don't see it on a consistent basis. I've sat on here many and many a time and watched Man City, and teams are happy as Larry to come away losing 3 or 4. 3 or 4. That ain't it anymore.
You know what, Si? How do you feel if you're Trafford, though? You've gone into the football club. You think you're going to be number one because you know Ederson's probably leaving. So you're probably thinking, I'm going, or I could have stayed at Burnley. I know you're going to a huge club in Man City, but you're playing week in, week out at Burnley, getting into the England squad. And now you've brought in Donnarumma. And first
Well,
and
we'll be
foremost,
hoping Donnarumma's feet cause a problem.
it doesn't matter about feet because first and foremost, as a goalkeeper, you're judged to save. I want my goalie to save. Everyone forgets PSG were fantastic last season, won the Champions League. He had a massive part to play in it, in the group stages and the knockout stages. He made big saves. So if he's coming into that football club, he's coming into Man City not to be a number 2, to be a number 1. He could have been a number 2 at PSG. He's coming in to be a number 1. So you kind of feel a bit it's going to be a bit hard for James Trafford, but I think Donnarumma's going to go in and be
currently
number
in
1.
4 competitions, so he's surely going to get chances.
Yeah, he'll get chances, but Donnarumma's going to want to be the number 1 and play in every game because that's what goalkeepers want to do. You're not working hard as a goalie. You basically just have to stop it and play 5-yard passes, don't you? You're not running around like players used to.